The body has the amazing ability to repair itself when it gets injured or to grow. And every tissue pretty much in the body, with a few exceptions, has a population of cells that can grow and divide in response to injury and rebuild the piece of tissue or organ that was damaged. And there are, in the adult human body, stem cells that are specific to particular tissues. So in the brain you have neural stem cells. In the bone marrow you have stem cells for the blood. And in the skeletal muscle you have stem cells that can repair muscle when you, for example, when you weight lift, they hypertrophy your muscle, you get bigger muscles. That's the activity of the stem cells, dividing and producing new muscle. The skin has stem cells. Unfortunately for the field of cardiology, it seems to be the case that the heart does not have a population of stem cells equivalent to other types of organs that can rebuild the damaged tissue, that can make new heart muscle. When a patient has a heart attack and that cardiac muscle is damaged, the best that we can hope for outside of rebuilding that muscle is for the heart to adapt and remodel in such a way that it can continue pumping with the cells that are left and that it won't continually weaken and weaken. There are a number of different approaches to try and fix the heart after a piece of heart tissue has been damaged by a heart attack, ischemic event. And a number of cell therapy trials in particular. I'm a cell biologist. I'm very interested in taking cells and using them as therapies, as if they were drugs, and rebuilding tissue with new cells. Now, the heart doesn't have a resident population of stem cells that can rebuild heart tissue, but nevertheless there are a number of different clinical trials going on where cells of different types are injected into the heart after a cardiac event, and then patients are followed, and it seems that different types of cells have the ability to improve the function of the heart. So understanding what is going on is a very important question in cardiovascular medicine. We know that there are cells that can make new heart muscle cells, and they're present in very early embryos. So what my lab and many other labs are doing are studying the ability of these early cells that are similar to cells of the embryo. Now, we don't work with human embryos. What we have been doing in my lab is taking skin cells from adults and reprogramming those skin cells. This was the subject of a recent Nobel Prize, the ability to reprogram skin cells into cells that are similar to embryonic cells in that they can do many things. They can differentiate into different types of cells. So because many people are opposed to destroying embryos for research, using embryonic cells that are actually derived from living embryos is very controversial. On the other hand, if you were to take a cell from an adult and reprogram it so that it no longer thinks that it's a skin cell but actually thinks that it's an embryonic cell, an embryo wasn't destroyed to make that kind of a cell. And so for this reason, there's tremendous amount of excitement and interest and research activity around that whole topic. What we would like to do is to produce new heart muscle cells and put those cells back into an injured heart such that you can actually rebuild the muscle and that it won't need to remodel in this pathogenic way. This type of cell therapy is something of the future, but because we can do many of these experiments already in small model organisms like the mouse, I really have no doubt that at some point in the future we are going to have a regenerative medicine based on cell therapy.